Welcome to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. If you're on a mission to be more frugal with both your time and money, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we talk about topics that help enhance living a frugal lifestyle. The goal is to save time and money where we can so that we can use the rest on what matters most to us. We talk a lot about both time and money management so that we can waste as little as possible on both. We do this while also embracing a progress over perfection mindset. If that sounds good to you, then please stick around for the latest episode right after a few quick words from our sponsor. Hello everyone. So today I just wanted to do a little quick episode with one meal planning tip. So this is my podcast episode day where I'm usually sharing my weekly meal plan for my family for the upcoming week. But I'm going to be away for several days during this weekly meal plan, so I'm not going to have a meal plan for too many of the days to try and do a meal plan episode, because when I share my meal plan, it's legitimately my family's meal plan. So if I haven't planned a meal plan for the week, I don't have one to share. So that's what's happening for this week. But I still wanted to have an episode come out, so I thought I would share something related to meal planning like I did the last time when I went away. So what I wanted to talk about today in just another short little episode is the idea of having a family favorites list. And I heard about this on another podcast, and I can't remember if it was The Lazy Genius or if it was maybe like Healthy Mama Hacks, which she just changed the name of that podcast. I can't remember what the new name is. It just changed. Or even another podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts and I can't remember what one it was. But they talked about this idea of having like a family favorites list for meals. And even more specifically, seasonal family favorites. So I just love this idea and I thought it would be good to share it, because basically what this is you keep a list of your family's favorite meals, because it can be so easy to forget about meals, especially when the seasons change. I know I'll get into a routine of making certain meals that everybody's really loving, and if they're kind of specific to like fall meals, like maybe like a chili type recipe, or a summer meal, maybe something on the grill, when that season ends and I get into a new routine of making meals for the next season, I often kind of forget about what those meals were that we were all really enjoying. So by keeping a seasonal family favorites list, you can have like your favorite fall meals, your favorite summer meals. You could do your favorite holiday meals. I know I have a list of all the sides that we always make for the holidays, because my kids really or at least one of my daughters is very traditional, and she always, if we've had it one year, we have to have it next time, because that's what we always do for these certain holidays. So I have like a grouping of those like holiday type dishes that we make. But I really love the idea of doing it for the other seasons too, because not only does it help you not to forget those meals that you like to make, but it also can help you in meal planning for those seasons, because you could just take a quick look on a week that you're struggling to get your meal plan together and pick a handful of those family favorites and then just use that to get your meal plan together, and then maybe fill in a few gaps if you need to. But just by having that list together and having it easily accessible to reference whenever you want to decide what you're going to be making for dinner that week, it can just make it that much easier without having to try and keep in your mind or keep mixed up with all your other recipes, the things that you really love and things that are quick to make too. Because what happens is I do have all of my favorite recipes in my recipe app, but they're in with all of the other recipes. So if they're not kind of like put together in some way where they're more condensed and you can just look at a handful of recipes to pick from, if they're just with all your other recipes, it's harder to distinguish them as being those family favorites that you just want to pick from really quickly. And then you're stuck going through all of your recipes to try and find the ones that you might want to make if you're just like in a quick rush to find something that you know that everybody in your family pretty much likes to eat. So maybe consider doing something like that if you struggle in that area. And it doesn't mean you have to create this perfect list to start with. If you can only right now think of 2 or 3 meals that your family really likes to eat, then start your list with 2 or 3 meals. And if one night you're sitting there, you're eating a meal and you're like, everybody's saying, oh, I really love this. This is one of my favorite meals. Or you're thinking to yourself, wow, this was quick and easy and everyone pretty much seems to like it, then go ahead and add it to the list, and you can build the list over time. You can also add things to your list that you're not totally sure if they're a family favorite. Maybe you try a new recipe and it seems like everybody really loves it. And you're like, I really don't want to forget about this because this was really a great recipe, but you're not really sure because you're like, well, I've only made it one time and, who knows. But you can go ahead and put it on your family favorites list if it was really a big hit. And then if you make it the next time and you don't wind up liking it as much as you thought you did, or the rest of the family doesn't like it as much, and you're like, I don't know if I really want to make this too often or not even make it anymore, then just take it off the list. It's not like the list is set in stone. It's just something to have to reference when you're kind of looking for a quick meal idea to make something that your family generally likes, and not having to sit there sorting through all kinds of recipes. And, if you have your stuff in a recipe app or if you have it in a binder or whatever, it just kind of can narrow things down for you to make a quick choice. So I just wanted to share that idea with you. I thought it might be a good little quick substitution to at least be related to meal planning, even though I can't share a meal plan with you this week. But I will have one for next week, so please be sure to check back next week if you're looking for some meal planning inspiration. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you here next week. So thank you for checking in for this podcast episode. And don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Lola's Frugal Life. And you can find a blog post for most of my episodes and definitely all of my meal plan episodes at lolasfrugallife.com. You can also join our private listeners group at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you would screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so I could see you're listening. Also, if you can please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast. Those ratings and reviews are what help the show come up better in search results so that other people can find this podcast. So that will really help me in growing my audience. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.